On December 23, 1944, at 11:45 a.m., German soldiers of the 26th Volksgrenadier Division, huddled atop the frozen slopes of Senamps Hill, Belgium, pressed their trembling field glasses to their eyes and were confronted with a scene that would shatter their understanding of the war. Hundreds of American C-47 transport planes filled the winter sky over Bastogne, their engines droning like a mechanical swarm, descending in waves to deliver a resupply to the beleaguered 101st Airborne Division. It was not a modest sortie of a dozen or two aircraft, but an armada, meticulously coordinated, each plane releasing parachutes of vivid colors: red for ammunition, blue for medical supplies, yellow for rations, white for miscellaneous gear, green for radios, and orange for fuel. German soldiers could scarcely comprehend it. Their Luftwaffe, which had once dominated the skies over Europe, had not mounted such an operation since the catastrophic battles of Stalingrad, and here, over a small Belgian town, the Americans were demonstrating logistical mastery that exceeded the finest achievements of the Third Reich. Just a week earlier, on December 16th, the Germans had launched their Ardennes offensive with supreme confidence, a 90-minute artillery barrage of 1,600 guns across a vast 130-kilometer front signaling the beginning of Operation Wacht am Rhein, Hitler's last desperate gamble to split the Allied armies and seize Antwerp. The 26th Volksgrenadier Division, rebuilt after devastating losses on the Eastern Front and reinforced with Luftwaffe and Kriegsmarine replacements, had moved forward through icy, narrow forest paths under cover of darkness, inspired by promises of decisive victory and new weaponry, fully confident that the weak, decadent Americans would crumble beneath the weight of German determination. Initial advances seemed to validate this optimism. American positions collapsed under the shock of German assault, units surrendered or fled, and the roads to Bastogne and Antwerp appeared open, a pathway to strategic triumph. Yet as the German spearheads approached Bastogne, the defenders were not merely retreating in disorder. Every road was systematically blocked, bridges demolished, and delaying actions executed with remarkable discipline. Elements of the 101st Airborne, exhausted from forced marches from Raz, France, and under-equipped for the bitter Belgian winter, had arrived just hours ahead of the Germans and immediately prepared a stubborn, organized defense, joined by Combat Command B of the 10th Armored Division and supporting units, totaling approximately 22,000 men trapped by nearly 5-to-1 odds. The Germans, confident in a repeat of history, believed that starvation, cold, and overwhelming force would compel the Americans to surrender. They sent an ultimatum on December 22nd, delivered in dramatic form by 4 German officers bearing white flags and even blindfolds, demanding honorably capitulation within 2 hours, only to be met with McAuliffe's legendary response, "Nuts." The morning of December 23rd dawned clear for the first time in a week, and with it came the full force of American air power. Pathfinder teams led the way, marking drop zones with precision, and the main C-47 formations arrived at 11:50 a.m., flying low at barely 1,000 feet, doors open, bundles of supplies spilling into the air. German anti-aircraft crews scrambled, firing 88mm flak, 20mm cannons, and machine guns, sending black puffs of smoke into the sky, yet the Americans flew through, damaged planes maintaining formation long enough to release their cargo. One C-47, its tail engulfed in flames, still delivered supplies before plummeting into the forest, a testament to determination and the overwhelming scale of American logistics. Colored parachutes rained down on the snow-covered fields, each drop reinforcing the defenders' capacity to survive and fight. Artillery shells, small arms ammunition, rations, blankets, winter clothing, surgical teams, whole blood for transfusions, jeeps, radios, replacement artillery, and even fuel. By day's end, one battalion alone reported over 528,000 rations, 250 gallons of gasoline, and hundreds of artillery and anti-tank rounds. Multiplied across all Bastogne units, the scale was staggering. The psychological impact on the German soldiers was immediate and profound. Their confidence, built over a week of unopposed advances and seeming inevitability, crumbled. For a week, the weather had shielded them, grounding Allied air forces and allowing free movement, but now P-47 Thunderbolts and other fighter bombers returned, strafing columns, destroying supply trucks, artillery, and vehicles, hunting troops with precision. The arithmetic of abundance was unmistakable. The Americans could supply an entire division by air in hours, while German forces, though superior in numbers, lacked the means to contest them, unable to deliver supplies, ammunition, or reinforcements effectively. Over the following days, additional missions brought gliders carrying heavy equipment, surgical units, and communication gear, further solidifying Bastogne's defenses. When Patton's Third Army finally broke through on December 26, linking with Bastogne, the defenders emerged exhausted but victorious, supplied and confident. Over the course of the siege, more than 1,113 tons of supplies had been delivered by air, including 15,000 artillery shells, nearly 8,000 gallons of fuel, winter clothing, medical supplies, and rations for the defenders, preserving combat capability against overwhelming German odds. The captured German soldiers' post-war testimonies revealed a profound transformation in morale, from invaders confident in rapid victory to witnesses of a nation whose industrial power, logistical mastery, and material abundance made encirclement irrelevant and tactical brilliance subordinate. The Bastogne air supply operation demonstrated that modern warfare was no longer determined solely by battlefield maneuvers, bravery, or numbers, but by the ability to move, sustain, and resupply forces with overwhelming precision. The 101st Airborne would never surrender, not because of superior courage, but because their nation had made failure impossible. For the Germans observing that December sky, filled with hundreds of transport planes and cascading parachutes, the lesson was undeniable. They were confronting not merely soldiers but an industrial civilization capable of projecting its power anywhere, a force whose victory was inevitable. Written in the skies over a small Belgian town where the arithmetic of American abundance had decisively altered the course of the Second World War.